Hello, everyone. Lucas Chaffee with Kiko Chat, June 16th, 2020. This is the Facilitator interview series. We're here with Rolf Schneidereit, who's going to show us a very exciting organizational development that they did for hundreds of German students. And it's going to be a lot of fun to see what they did. It was very well produced. We'll go around the room here, just do briefly a very short intro, maybe 10 seconds of anything you'd like to share about yourself, where you are in the world. Floor is open.
Okay, I'm Tony Carr. I convene a professional development network for EdTech people across African higher education, and we run a lot of online events and processes. Lately, we've been getting a lot of people coming to our events, so the idea of how you facilitate large-scale events becomes really interesting. Thank you.
I'm Francois Newco, calling from London, England. Open to Flow, work for Open to Flow, and I'm open space facilitator amongst other things, and I'm also keenly interested in hearing the experiences, which I haven't had yet, of doing large open space type of events online.
Hi, I'm David. I'm living here in the north of France. I'm not French, I'm from Dublin. I've been in France now for 20 years. I train business people in English, and facilitation has slipped into my work over the last 10 years. I have never done an open space event. I know open space. I've read all about open space, and I'm really intrigued to see to learn about how we do that online. I've participated in Heidi's talk already. So it's very informative. So really interested in how we transform open space into a virtual world.
I'm Heidi, and Rolf, I'll say grüezi. I know some Swiss German. I come by my name Heidi honestly. My mother is Swiss. And I've been working with Lucas on Kiko Chat after doing a large 3-day open space, and I'm interested in seeing a variety of events so that we can help future facilitators consider how to translate what they've been doing in person into Kiko Chat. And so I'm very eager, Rolf, to see and hear about your experience, which is different than open space, and see how you all produced it and facilitated it.
Excellent. We have Suzanne Daigle joining us. I know she's listening, cannot call in. She cannot speak at the moment. Let me turn over to Erica and then Juan Luis.
Hi, I'm Erica Negro. I'm Italian. I'm a facilitator. I've already hosted an open space with Kiko Chat with the Art of Hosting community. And I'm very interested in knowing a little bit more today how it worked with a lot of people, but also I have a background in renewable energies and energy efficient sustainable development. So I'm also interested in relation to what you will talk about today. So thank you very much.
Juan Luis, would you like to introduce yourself? Okay, Ralph, over to you.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for the invitation and for Lucas and opening the circle. At first, I have to a little bit to apologize because my English is quite poor. I hope Heidi can help me sometimes when I'm stuck. So I will try to do it in simple words. I have to do it in simple words because otherwise not possible. I'm a facilitator. I'm feeling close, connected to the Art of Hosting community. I worked many years as a consultant, and 13, 14 years ago now, I changed my rule to totally, and I stopped to be consultant, and I started my facilitation business. It was a hard way to do that because for many customers, it is still today, it is quite new what we offer. One of my customers is Engagement Global. It is a daughter, an agency of the Federal Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development. And they are doing, you will see it, large events with young people. These events are dedicated to the 17 goals for sustainable development. And last year we made the first 2 events, live events, on-site events in Berlin and one in Mannheim, and I will show you a video so that you get an impression what we did there. And we decided to do it with design thinking. Perhaps perhaps you know design thinking, or you have heard from design thinking. It is our own methodology. It's not like Adolf hosting. It's dedicated to idea creation and for products, for services. You can use it also for governmental issues. It is a creative methodology. Yeah, to help people to create something new ideas, new solutions for all what you can think. And we decided last year to use this methodology to bring young people together in the room in small groups to create projects for these 17 goals for sustainability. Yeah, you know, perhaps the UN calls this the 17 goals. It is, for example, it is again poverty, it is for gender equality and for clean water and for climate and so on. 17 goals, yeah. And last year we did the first one in Berlin. It was also our first event, what we did together. And you have to know, there is really a big stuff behind this event. There are around about 8-9 people from the organization, from Engagement Global, who do the organizational part. There are around about 15 facilitators who helps large groups to work. Wow, what the stuff, yeah. There's one head coach that I am, and there are around about between 40 to 60 teamers. These are young people who were trained by us to use the methodology of design thinking with a small group, because we divided the large group in many small groups. This is perhaps the first overview, and my idea is to share my screen and to have 6 steps prepared. And if you have a question, please speak directly. I guess it's best, because I'm talking, and perhaps we lose then the questions. So I guess it's the best. At first, I would like to show you, so I'm right here, a video from the first event in Berlin, so that you get an impression about what we are doing there. Young people.
400 junge Menschen sind wir hier auf dem Malzfabrikgelände in Berlin, auf dem Festival der Taten. Und gemeinsam denken wir uns kreative Ideen aus, wie wir die 17 Ziele umsetzen.
Oder diese ganzen Methoden auch kennenzulernen vom Design Thinking, das wir heute durchspielen dürfen.
Um diese 17 Ziele umzusetzen, brauchen wir jeden Einzelnen. Und gerade wir jungen Menschen sind besonders kreativ, wenn es darum geht, uns Lösungen auszudenken.
Ich würde sagen, das Wichtigste an den 17 Zielen ist, dass man sich überhaupt bewusst wird, dass es sie gibt und dass man sich mit ihnen auseinandersetzt. Bei Level 0 anfangen und sagen, okay, was kann ich jeden Tag im Alltag integrieren? Erstmal nur eine Sache.
Sei mutig, geh einfach mal einen Schritt aus deiner Comfortzone raus und schau dich in deiner Stadt um, was es da schon für coole bestehende Projekte gibt.
Young people who like to do their creativity, they created really great projects, really great ideas. I guess it's enough to get an impression. That was what we did last year, and it was fun. It was really. We get excellent feedback, and the young people created some really interesting ideas, projects. They, in the end, I do not know, is a prototype. In the moment, I can't see a prototype. That all groups created prototypes of their ideas, so they could show what they wanted to do. Yeah, we wanted to do the same this year in May in Bremen, in cooperation with the University of Bremen. And then happened Corona. And it was clear, no, we can't do it. We can't do a big event with 400 people in one room. It's not possible. And within, I guess, 3 weeks or 4 weeks, it was not more time, the organization decided, yes, we go with this event online. And I was on board as a head coach. I knew Kikochat in advance, and I suggested, let's do it there. We need breakout rooms. We need a lot of breakout rooms, and also we need a platform where we can work in small groups. It is not like open space design thinking. It's not like that in the morning the people show up with their ideas on what they want to work. This process is another process. We had challenges in advance. For example, the company for buses and trains in Berlin had a question how they can use their buses, for example, better during the day to have a better ecological and economical use of their tools, of their buses and trains. And this was one challenge, and they give us this challenge. Also, other environmental organizations had challenges. So we had these challenges in advance, and we organized a process, Heidi, an Anmeldeprozess, a process where we
registration.
Thank you, François. Ah, great, this help is wonderful. Yeah, we set up a registration process. Sometimes the words are away. I don't know where they are. A registration process where you have to decide, I want to work on challenge 31, for example. We had in total, we offered round about 60 challenges, 60 different challenges. And one challenge for us was to fit the people to the challenges. This was not so perfect in this version of the festival. But in the end, all participants decided on which challenge I would like to work on. So in the morning, when they arrived, 90% roundabout was clear what I want to do. Yeah, on which challenge would I like to work. So, and then we tried to do almost the same what we did in the on-site versions of the festivals in Berlin and Mannheim last year. A design thinking process with 5 steps where we guided the participants through in small groups. The groups had between 4 and maximum 9 participants. Yeah. So, and each group has a team, had a teamer. This teamer, we had around about 50 teamers. This teamer were trained in advance. Yeah, we had a half a day to guide the teamer through the process so that they had an idea, and they had also a booklet about the process, how they can guide the group through the process. And now I'm showing you a small, it's also in German, some impressions of the similar video of this version, of the online version.
Herzlich willkommen zum ersten digitalen Festival in Kooperation mit der Universität Bremen.
Wir erreichen die Ziele für nachhaltige Entwicklung nur gemeinsam. Und alle sind gefragt, selbst aktiv zu werden.
Wir sind im Moment getrennt und wir sind trotzdem miteinander verbunden.
Also ich bin jedes Mal wieder überrascht, was beim Design Thinking einfach innerhalb eines Tages von 0 auf 100 rauskommen kann.
She's surprised about what is possible with design thinking within one day to create in a small group. We did a lot of work.
Das größte Highlight war aber, glaube ich, einfach zu sehen, wie aus einer ganz einfachen Frage in so kurzer Zeit schon eine konkrete Idee werden konnte. Und das, obwohl ich noch keine der Personen heute früh gekannt habe.
He said it was so surprising how fast we created an idea within one day, and he didn't know anyone before in the morning.
Ich bin überzeugt, dass die 17 Ziele den Fahrplan, wie es so schön genannt wird, wirklich für die Welt bieten können, weil sie so viele Punkte ansprechen, die letztendlich notwendig sind, dass wir hier lange und gut auf dem Planeten leben können.
What you see these are small parts of videos. Each group who finished this 1.5 day produced around about 1 minute video as a prototype. So we had, in the end, we had 47 videos from 47 groups who finished the process until the end. And the core of this 1 minute videos is the description of the idea. And they did it with very creative and different ways, how they create this 1 minute video.
Deswegen seid Spinner, okay? Und Träumer und voller Tatendrang und traut euch wagemutig zu sein. Außerhalb von der eigenen Komfortzone zu denken und habt dabei um Himmels Willen Spaß. Das ist beinahe das Wichtigste.
In the evening we had a DJ team.
Am Ende des Tages beginnt alles mit einer guten Idee. Und gute Ideen sind ansteckend. Also infiziert die Menschen um euch herum und eure Gedanken mit euren Taten und mit euren Ideen und Wünschen.
Also ich finde es einfach so krass, dass, obwohl man zu Hause sitzt, irgendwie so viel bewirken kann und irgendwie das Gefühl hat, aktiv zu sein.
She is so impressed to sit at home and to have the feeling that the impact is so great in this online work. Yeah. So I guess it's enough. So this is only to get a first impression. And here you see on YouTube the 47 videos, and they are really very, very different. These 47 videos they produced. Yeah. It is against waste. It is for a new festival culture. It is for a sustainable football European Championship. It is for avoiding food waste. It is for a better use of trains and buses. It is for protection of animals. It is for, you see, very, very different goals, and each is one roundabout 1 minute. Yeah, and you see in the list are 47 videos, and not all, but some of these projects are still working to create from this idea to come to a project what works. Yeah, it's a great step to go from there to the reality, but they try. Yeah, I guess at the end of the month we will make a survey to get more current state, which projects are still working. Yeah. So now I would like to show you how we organized that in KikoChat, because that's the reason why we're here, to show how KikoChat allows that. Yeah. And this is the KikoChat environment. And you see, this is here for the plenum, and you see here all the rooms what we created with the different challenges. Yeah, it's all in German, sorry for that. We had a group from Turkey within the whole group. They was from Istanbul, or no, from Izmir. We had a room for the media and for the team, for trainer, it's clear. And I would like to show you this example, so that you get an impression how KikoChat supported this 1.5 day process. You see here the buttons above the side. And the first button was an overview how the days will work and how the schedule, the time schedule is, and what we want to do on Friday and what we wanted to do on Saturday. Yeah. And you see below the tab, it's not only one side. We used Google Slides. Yeah, yes, Google Slides.
Rolf, if I may make a suggestion, to make this a little bigger, let's click Hide Breakouts. That's on the left-hand side of the page.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it's better. Yeah. So below this first tab, we had all the informations about methodology, or the core information about methodology, and also about the day planning for first day and second plan. Yeah, also for design thinking. So to support the teamer who explained the process to the participants in the small group. Yeah. And then the next step, we started to go into the challenge. And the first step in design thinking is to understand deeper, what is the challenge? What is it really? The challenge behind the challenge. Yeah. And this is, for that is the second tab. And you see here a a collection of ideas of sorts. Yeah, we prepared it with some question. We tried to support it with helpful questions. For example, which needs and problems does target groups have, for example? And the next, after this step, after this initial step into the design thinking process, is the next step. We did it in a you can do it in 7 steps or in 5 steps. We did it in a reduced 5-step version of design thinking. And then the second step was to create together a persona, a typical user for the solution. Yeah, to help the imagination to get more focused on what does this person need? What is it? What's this person need? And what we did, for example, in this stage, we tried to make the kind of working together vielfältig, to have a rhythm between I work for me, solo, I work in small groups of 2, and I work in my complete small group of, for example, 6 or 7 or 8. And this year we invited them to make at first for each, without video, for each, an own persona. So they went out the video conference and all participants made a persona, and after 20 minutes they come back and collected what they have imagined, what is my persona, and created together one. So we tried to have as much variations in this online environment as possible. Yeah, for example, to stop the video and to work alone. Yeah. Also, we did a lot of breaks. So for movement, you saw it in the video, yeah, movement and fun and little games to have to break through this video. I hope you know what I mean.
Yes. Did you even have a special guest that visited some of the rooms?
Yeah, you mentioned the llama, yeah.
Yeah, maybe you can explain what that was. People, I don't know, when I say there was a llama involved.
Yeah, it was really, it was crazy. I know from the Engagement Global team, they created this idea. And I read also the same news that a farmer who has a lot of llamas and alpacas, but he has a big problem because no visitor is there. And he decided, okay, I offer video conferences with my alpacas and with my llamas. And they read it and they invited him to do that. And so sometimes appears a llama in your room. What's that? So we tried to do many of these small, well, hopeful, meaningful interruptions to make it more lively, to have good breaks, to stimulate creativity. Yeah, so this is the second step, the persona. And if you, when you have a deeper understanding of the challenge and also a deeper detailed picture of the target person, then you can start to create ideas. And the goal of creating ideas is to create ideas as lot as possible. Yeah. The first step is to create ideas, so many is possible, and then the last step is to rate the ideas and to select the best ideas out. Yeah, it's a two-step process.
How did they do the rating of ideas?
They did it with showing up, very simple. One lesson we learned after our first iteration of the design was to make it easier and to make it easier and to make it easier, because it was so complex. Yeah, and you see, perhaps it is still quite complex. I will show you the booklet for the team, and you will see, oh, many steps they have to handle. And so was one of our goals was to reduce technology and complexity wherever it's possible, and we are not at the end. So I guess we can do more. So sometimes we use only very simple this. Show up your hands. Yeah. And after that, the next step, when they decided what are our favorite ideas or this favorite ideas, the next step was to create a storyboard, because in an on-site design thinking process, you have a lot of material where you can work with, paper and threads and colors and tone, where you can do things with your hands. But when all people sitting at their home, each in their own living room, you can't do it together. So we decided that we wanted from all groups as the kind of prototype, a video. And to support this process where how they create the video, we offered this tab here, the storyboard behind. Yeah, so that they could develop an idea how many steps do we have, who will say what, yeah, what do we want it to show with these storyboards, yeah, to support them to create round about 1 minute video. And then the next step, and I guess if I remember right, the storyboard was out about at the end of the first day. And then the next step was to make a distillation of the essence of their project idea, to look on the title. What is your title of your, what's the title of your idea? And what is the mission of your project? Yeah, and we ask them also, would you like to work on this idea after the festival? And then I'm stepping now forward. Here is for this example is a video of this group.
Oh, ist euch auch so langweilig? Ja.
Prost, Leute!
Prost.
Prost.
Hey Leute, ich habe gerade was Gutes getan und Müll gesammelt. Und jetzt kann ich nachher auf einen Secret Act gehen.
Wow, echt?
Ja, mega.
Wow, kann ich auch noch was anderes machen, als Müll zu sammeln, um dahin zu kommen?
Ja klar, es gibt unzählig viele Möglichkeiten.
Auch was mit Menschen?
Natürlich.
Dann probier.
It's a project about the idea, how can we support and empower people to do something for society, for the commons, and to give them something back. Yeah, this is the core of the idea of this project. Okay. next step, I would like to show you, if you have no question, I'm going ahead. I would like to show you, yeah, this is a smart impression. It's terrible. Last week we had I was participant in a wonderful Kekoshet presentation of film and the improbable theater, and it was heart touching, really wonderful. And I thought, no, what he did is so different to that what we did. You see, we are so structured. Look here at the timetable, unbelievable. It's from minute to minute. But I believe for this kind of project, what we did, it was necessary to have a very, very strong and clear idea what is to do. For example, one important step in design thinking is to test your idea. So it is so important to test your idea. And what we decided for a test is that we made a circle. One group visited the neighbor group, and the neighbor group visited our group. And they made presentations, yeah, to get a feedback. For that, we need 1 minute or 5 minutes. We're all finished to go around to visit other groups, for example. This was so important. And so you see, oh wow, the green ones is more for relaxation, for fun. Yeah, a lot of work.
I remember working with your team. The team was very productive, and because it had such high goals for managing the process and designing the process for these hundreds of students, the team was very detailed. Can you tell us more about how many people were on the team that helped put this together?
Yeah, the core team, the core of the core, were around about 7-8 people. We, from the organizations, from Engagement Global, 6-7 people. Then we had a technical supervisor. I'm on board as a head coach, and around this first core, then there were around about 15 trainers, and each trainer supported 3 to 4 teamers, 3 to 4 groups, and each group had a teamer, yeah, a young person who showed up in the registration process and said, yes, I would like to support a group, and I would like to learn how I can support these groups. And we trained them in 4 hours in a 4-hour video conference through the process. Yeah. So at the end, I guess the whole stuff were around 70 people.
Fantastic. I mean, it's a huge organizing effort, and as you mentioned, it's on the very opposite end of the spectrum, where Fellum's very pure open space of whatever happens. Yeah. Here, it's equipping all the participants with all the documents they need to create and think through how to build their video, where to upload the video, managing all those videos. So it's 70 people helping put on this event for 450 people. It's pretty amazing. What worked well? Oh, first question is, what are the motivations for many of the volunteers to want to participate in this event?
I guess one. They are between 18 and mostly they are between 20 and 28. And if you looked around, these young people are really dedicated to the 17 goals. Yeah, these are engaged young people. They would like to do something for the society, and also at the same time they would like to learn. They were interested in how does this methodology, design thinking, I have heard from it, but how does it work? And also it is an event. Yeah, it is an offering. It is, it has, I guess it has really some advantages to participate. And now in May, it was also some mentioned also the reason, oh yes, I'm sitting all the days at home, no contact, and this is great. I can participate in a large event and work with a group, and I'm connecting with new people I don't know before. And at night I have a little DJ set. Hey, great, yeah. So something like that. And we did a 3-step. They made also an evaluation after the event, but we did it also at the end of the event. You know, Mentimeter, I guess many of you know it, and it's so quick to collect. You see here in the right corner 425 feedbacks, yeah, on the questions. On the question, what can make the version of the festival next time better? So many ideas, 425 ideas, how we can make it better. And also a lot of 435 comments on what was good in this event and what was helpful. And also a lot of critique and what was challenging for the participation, 370. So we had a lot of material within 6-7 minutes we collected it. And it's much more work to understand what is inside and to group it. Yeah, but it's great, a great source for our next iteration, what will happen in August. And at the end of August.
Ralph, I'm going to share in the chat, and since you're already sharing your screen, I'm hoping you can pull it up, the picture of the remote disco. So there's the link to it if you'd like to pull it up and share your screen. So as a bystander to this event running tech support, it was great to see they said we want to do a disco to bring the young people together so they can dance apart from listening to the same music, but they were dancing from their homes. And I thought that what was very nice about the disco is that it brought the different types of music from all over the world together, and it was mixing it, and that helped people mix their ideas, many different cultures represented in the music. And it was just tremendous energy, and it was so impressive to see that done.
Yeah, nice. Thank you that you.
So they're setting up the disco, and then
2 hours and 30. Yeah. So I hope. Okay. The last thing I would like to show, and then I'm ready. I hope you are not. Is I would like to show you the booklet for the team, and you see how complex the process was. This one, this Leitfaden. I do not know the manual for the team. Yeah, the team were also young people, normally participants, but they made a cross at the question, would you like to support the process and to help a group? And they said yes. And then they go with us through this half-day training, and you see the manual has 23 sides, 23 pages, yeah, and it was really a complex process. I'm scrolling through because we had to combine technical questions, first layer, second layer, methodology, design thinking, and third layer below, approach. Yeah.
And all the people in your approach had different roles, and your group asked Kiko Chat to make it possible for some people to have Zoom host access in this breakout and some different people in that breakout. And that helped grow the platform because it was a new type of request.
Yeah.
And I was just very impressed with how detailed the thinking was. I had never seen an event with this much detailed planning.
Yeah, the design thinking, if you do it with a group, if you're an experienced facilitator in design thinking, and you do it with a group on site, the group never realize how complex the process behind is. But if you transform it into an online event, I believe, you see here also the times, yeah, the timetable, it has to be very clear. But important is to know, design thinking is working also on site with a very strict time boxing. Now, idea creation, 10 minutes, no minute more, 10 minutes, stop. Yeah, this is a part of design thinking, to work with very strict time boxing. Yeah, so you see, it's quite complex.
Rolf, I wonder, for a facilitator that would like to try design thinking, and maybe they are just on a team of 1, 2, or 3 people, they have the client, themselves, and maybe someone to run it. How could they do design thinking in an online event without the big budget?
Yeah, you have to invest a lot of time. Very simple, you have to invest a lot of time. And if you know what you are doing, if you're an experienced facilitator with design thinking, I guess and if you have only one group, it's not a problem. Yeah, if you are working with one group, it's easy. But if you are working with 47 groups, what we did, this is a challenge, yeah, to multiplicate, is it right? Multiplicate the methodology for 47 groups. Yeah, one group is easy. For one group, we didn't need a manual. Yeah.
What would you want to do if you had to do this again 2 months from now? What would you like to do differently if it was the same event with a different group of students?
Yeah, we will do that. Yeah, in 2 months, roundabout. Yeah, one big challenge was the registration process. In the morning of the beginning, we had around about 10% of the people who were not clear, in which group I would like to participate. And some of them had also technical problems. So technical problems combined with, where would I like to go, combined with a very strict timetable. Terrible. We don't want to do that again. Yeah. So I guess one big change, we have a large list of changes. We collected 23 pages with suggestions of changes. Crazy. One important thing what we want to do, 4 hours training for teamer is not enough. They need more. a second big change will be the registration process, that all participants, no keine Ausnahme, no exception, all participants have to decide in front the event on which challenge do I want to work. So these are two. And also what we would like to do is the giver of the challenges, we want to bring them more into the festival so that we have really process from the challenge is more clear, in depth, what they want to achieve, until the end that they decide to support the groups, because we believe as more groups are working after the festival, as more successful is all our work. We want to help the groups to create something new, not only in the idea to change, really to change. Some spots we are working on that, and we are at the end of August it will be the next event. So we have to learn a lot.
The remote disco, there was a question from Tony if we could share the link, and I made a copy of it and put it in the chat. And the neat thing that they thought of with the remote disco is you've got the DJ streaming. It could be anything. It could be a video presentation. It's just streaming in the browser and people can listen to it live or recorded. And then you click a button to join Zoom. So now we're all talking here on Zoom and we're each listening to the music, which might be off by a second or two, but it's not important because it's only going into our ears. And so some people were actually dancing with each other on Zoom while watching the video, and it made a very real interesting connection. Another group, there's a religious group that wants to stream a religious service this fall to 1,500 people, and they want different people sitting in these groups with their family and friends. And so each of them has their own breakout in Zoom watching the same live stream. So some of the innovation that you did here, Rolf, it helps all these other groups and events, which is fantastic.
Wow.
And something surfaced for me, which is that it seems like the approach of that level of structure for design thinking with young people works in particular culturally specific situations where a lot of previous education and cultural development of the students over many years equipped the students to actually do that kind of process. I mean, I can think of young people I know and knew when I was growing up who would absolutely rebel at that kind of structure. I wouldn't just find it difficult in terms of, you know, there's not enough time perhaps sometimes, but would actually want to have a revolution. So, but it seems like you were not actually attracting a lot of students who had those kinds of emotional, let's say, frictions with the approach.
I'm not sure, Tony. I'm not sure about it. It's an interesting question, because I guess we had a lot of young people who are more rebellious as an average of young people. But they decided to go through the process, and perhaps if you imagine you are in a small group, yeah, and you have an interesting challenge, perhaps the rebellion steps a step behind you, and you say, okay, I try this, perhaps.
Let's see if we have any additional questions. We definitely want to share your contact information, Rolf, in the chat here in case people have any follow-up questions that they have for you.
So
Yeah.
I have a
Yes.
I have a question. To a large degree, the participants were not moving from breakout room to breakout room. They were always in the same rooms, except for the moment when you were sharing the videos of the presentations. But other than that, they were always in the same room. Was it actually necessary? I mean, what was the key benefit of using KikoChat in that situation? Was it the ability to have all the various documents in the rooms prepared? I guess that's what it is, but I just want to check.
Yeah, the main advantage to use KikoChat was that we could create a space where we have in the morning and in the evening the large gathering, all come together, 300, 400 people in the room, and then they could walk by themselves in the small rooms where they find all the material what they need for the work. That was the key benefit of it.
Yeah. Which leads me to think that KikoChat can be used for all kinds of things, especially in a learning context. I think the uses of KikoChat are yet unexplored.
Yeah, that is interesting. What you're saying, Francois. It is really last week with Philip. It was so nice and beautiful to see. Oh yes, and on our example, it's quite diametral. It's so opposite, but it also works in KikoChat. Yeah, and it needs this. It needs these breakout rooms, and it needs the ability to have all the material at your hand. But we did it in a very structured way. Really, you saw it with the timetable. Crazy. Yeah.
And Francois, I think a few other things that were helpful as tech support, we could see where the participants were. They requested a new feature, which we built for their event. All the teamers, the people, the trainers, they had a different color around their profile icon. So you could see if one was alone, if two were in the same room, if there was a group of people without. So you could see where your people are, and you can hop in as tech support to help them. Those kinds of things I found to be helpful. Well, we're at the top of the hour, and we'll stop the recording here. We want to just thank Rolf very much for this generous interview and give you the closing word, Rolf.
The closing words. Yeah, nice that you are here and you're so interested, and not a lot of questions. I hope. Perhaps yes. I have a question. What are you taking with you when you are leaving the room?
Tony, you were on mute. I think you said something? Oh.
Yeah, structure and freedom, and the dialectic between them.
I'm interested in the exchange that was made there about the people rebelling against it, and that the young people that you did have rebels, and that's why I noted in the comments that the suspension of disbelief. Maybe the organization kind of convinced them to give this a go. Well, they were reassured by the organization, and they kind of went, okay, this probably won't work, but I'm prepared to be part of the failure, just in case it does work. And it did work, you know. So, voila.
What I got also from the videos that I watched was the sense of fun that people seem to be having in the process. So very creative, but a lot of fun.
I think the other folks had joined halfway through. Anything else to add from anyone else that was on the call? Rolf's question is, what are you taking with you today?
yeah, I would like to reflect two sentences. So one is rebellion, freedom and structure. If I mention it, if I hear it right, yes, that is great. It's really interesting to see how structure enables also freedom. Really fascinating. And what did you say, David? Sorry, I lost it.
It's a suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, yeah.
That they refuse to not believe.
Yeah, what was helpful, I guess, and perhaps I experienced it a lot of time in the moment with all this video conference, not only video conference, video workshops. There's a difference to classical video conference. Is I try to frame it as an experiment. Every time, really, this is an experiment. We can fail, and I failed a lot. You perhaps, Lucas, you remember, in the beginning sequence, in the opening, I had the third part, and I sent them too early to the rooms, and oh no, shit, it's too early. They have to come back. Oh shit, 200 people are moving the wrong way. In the end, I guess it was good, because I could only say, sorry people, my failure, it was shit. And that was okay.
Fortunately, it was a multi-day event, and they spent so much time together that, and I think also the honesty of human, I make a mistake, they react to that in a positive way. Well, thank you everyone for coming today. Rolf, thank you very, very much for doing such a wonderful job preparing all the things that you showed us today. This recording will be very valuable for all the people who get a chance to watch in the future.
Great.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.